sell the club's Tynecastle ground, home to the Edinburgh club for the last 118 years. A property firm has agreed to pay £20 million to redevelop the Gorgie site. An EGM will get underway in the next hour. Now, Jane is live at Tynecastle ahead of that crunch meeting. Jane.
Good evening, John. Yes, as you say, that EGM will certainly take a centre stage later this evening. Hearts fans and shareholders alike are starting to arrive ahead of the meeting, which is due to start around about 7 o'clock this evening. And of course, we all await with bated breath the outcome of this evening's vote. But away from tonight's EGM, Scotland Today can reveal that the Lithuanian businessman Vladimir Romanov, who of course has been linked with buying into the club, we can reveal that he is due over in Edinburgh this coming weekend. He says that he's due to watch Hearts in action, a sign perhaps that he is ready to make a move and buy into the Edinburgh club. Well, with more on that and more on tonight's EGM, here's Ranald Leask.
And they score! The goal! Yes. The ball was kept to Murray by Bowman when it looked as if Bowman had lost his chance. Hearts have gone into the lead by 1-0. A goal scored by inside right Jim Murray.
Tynecastle has been Hearts' home since 1886, but if tonight's vote goes the way it's expected to, it soon won't be. The Gorgie club have already agreed a £20 million deal with Cala Homes, which will see the demolition of Tynecastle to be replaced by housing. Hearts have already reached agreement with the SRU to play at Murrayfield as of next season. Angry fans have made clear their opinion of both the plan to leave Tynecastle and of the club's chief executive Chris Robinson. And at yesterday's game with Rangers, black balloons were released by those supporters who feel a move away from Gorgie would sound the death knell for the club.
I really don't believe that the fans will turn up in Murrayfield in numbers. And as the numbers go down, less fans will go. And the Hearts will still be paying a lot of money for the rental of the ground. And as I said, they could end up in a lot of debt and no asset whatsoever.
And that's a view shared by Edinburgh businessman Peter McGrail, who had his plan to build a new stadium right next to the current one rejected by the Hearts board.
The bottom line is that we've been asked to trust them to manage the club in the future. With this track record, how can we trust them? And I think that what we should be voting on is not only the capital situation with the club, but on its management. And if we were given that opportunity to essentially bring people in at the top who will run this better in the future, that would give a positive edge to what's happening.
One glimmer of hope for those battling to keep Hearts at Tynecastle is a clause in the contract that means the board would consider any alternative offer that matched the one from Cala Homes. Another possibility is a takeover of the club by Lithuanian businessman Vladimir Romanov. I spoke to Vladimir Romanov this morning and he told me that he's travelling to Scotland this weekend and will take in the Dunfermline Hearts game on Sunday. And whilst he said he doesn't have any meetings planned as yet with any of Hearts' major shareholders, his mere presence here will fuel speculation that a takeover of the club remains a real possibility. Whether any takeover would actually mean Hearts scrapping the plan to leave Tynecastle is unclear, but many Hearts fans will be hoping it means exactly that. Ranald Leask, Scotland Today at Tynecastle Stadium in Edinburgh.
Well, those Hearts night, of course, a big night for Hearts shareholders and fans alike. It's the EGM. Gary Mackay joins us now, former Hearts player, of course. Gary, what are you expecting from this evening's meeting?
Well, I do think the sale will be carried through. I think it'll be it's a momentous night for the club, and I think it'll be the worst day in the history of Heart and Midlothian.
If the vote does go through, if it does accept these proposals to sell the ground, is your fight over?
No, we'll have to continue to fight, Jane. We've got a working party that reports back at the end of December. We have to make sure there's something positive to report to the board, and we'll also have to fight to remove Chris Robinson from office during that period as well.
Now, this evening we've heard on Scotland Today that this Lithuanian businessman, Vladimir Romanov, seems to be coming over to start talks with Hearts officials. What do you know about that, and do fans like yourself welcome that?
Well, it's positive. Anything's positive if it gets rid of Chris Robinson. The worrying factor for me is that the PR machine that's behind the Hearts likes throwing these things into the equation when there's nights like this, but it would be positive because we need to get rid of the present board.
Obviously, this evening's EGM taking place, you think the vote will be accepted to go ahead and sell the ground. But will the fans get a chance to put their thoughts over to the board, do you think?
Well, I think so, and there is one or two pertinent questions that have to be asked, and we'll have to ask why that Chris Robinson and his fellow directors have allowed the club to get into this financial state.
OK, Gary, and just finally, I mean, you're talking about Chris Robinson there. I mean, if the vote goes through, will he go, do you think?
Well, I think he has to go, but I'm never sure. Chris Robinson wants to line his pockets with as much money as he can. He's done that in his time at Hearts.
OK, Gary, thanks as ever for joining us this evening. We'll talk to you later on. Now, as the Hearts and Rangers played out a goalless draw here on Saturday, we can tell you that the sides met in a reserve league match today. Not a good one, though, for Stephen Thompson. He was sent off for violent conduct and will now miss Rangers' game against Inverness Cally Thistle this weekend. So bad news for him, but better news for Aberdeen this evening, as an injured player is not as badly injured as first feared.